It was one of the biggest record deals of 1999.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good old-fashioned, bidding war.
Okay.
David Geffen versus Madonna versus Jimmy Iovine,
Wow.
Yeah.
When you say Madonna, when she's running Maverick, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But what changed my life was Nelly Furtado. So I started, when I shopped Nelly, people's heads exploded. It was like immediately, it's like, when can we meet her? Where is she? Can we get her on the phone? Get David Geffen on the phone? It was all of that.
As soon as you're playing the music, without a doubt.
Yeah, they listen to music, they look at the photos she had done for herself in like a cheap photo booth in the airport, and a bio she had written herself.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was magical. Yeah.
Got you. Bringing Chris back into the mix, Chris Smith.
Yeah, Chris was the manager.
He's the manager. Does he introduce you to Nelly? Does he put you on to Nelly?
He does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he kind of teased me with her, kind of like, well, maybe I'm going to let you have it. Maybe I won't. And eventually he let me take the recordings down to New York and play them for people.
Got you.
Yeah.
Does Chris have the relationships with people in New York at this point in time, or
not at that time?
Okay.
I think the Philosopher Kings had done a deal with Columbia in New York, so he had a couple relationships, but at that time he wasn't very networked.
Right.
That way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're taking it everywhere. Nelly Furtado, I'm assuming the bidding war kind of ensues a little bit?
Yeah, I would say that was, and I think she's spoken about this over the years. It was one of the biggest record deals of 1999.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good old-fashioned, bidding war.
Okay.
David Geffen versus Madonna versus Jimmy Iovine,
Wow.
Yeah.
When you say Madonna, when she's running Maverick, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got Deftones at this point?
I think she did, maybe Prodigy and stuff like that.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And you ended up going with Geffen?
We ended up going with Dreamworks.
Dreamworks?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we had done all, it was kind of a weird one. We had done all the shopping and played it for a whole bunch of people. And I was meeting with a friend of mine, Benji Gordon, who worked at Interscope.
Wow.
And he was a rock guy.
Yeah.
And as I'm leaving his office, he says, well, what else you got? I said, oh, well, I've got this, this young woman from Toronto. It's not your thing. Like, don't worry about it. He said, play it for me. Like, he was kind of offended, right? And so I played it for him. He ended up playing it for his friend, this guy, Jake Wisely, who's gone on to do great things in the publishing world. Jake Wisely ends up playing it for his friend at Dreamworks, this woman, Beth Halper.
Okay. And
out of the blue, we get a phone call from Beth Halper, and all of a sudden Dreamworks is in the mix, which brings in David Geffen. That's how David Geffen got onto the scent.
I'm sorry that I'm naive to this or ignorant to this, but this is the same Dreamworks of the film studio?
It
Dreamworks?
is. Yep.
That was Spielberg and them, right? Who created Dreamworks?
Spielberg, Katzenberg, and Geffen. It was SKG LLC.
And something. Jobs, no? It wasn't Jobs. Or no, that's okay, right. No. That's Geffen, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I hope you're enjoying this convo. There is a ton of value that you can extract from it. And speaking of which, if you're an artist or manager watching this and you want to get more in-depth strategies regarding your career, then my one-on-one consultations could be for you. These are fully personalized, just you and me tackling whatever you need in your career. Now, if you're not familiar with me, if you don't know, I have over 16 years of experience working with artists like Jesse Reyes and Eminem, to managers like Troy Carter and Tyler Henry, to working with brands like Nike or the Toronto Raptors. I have deep knowledge in many areas of the music business that can help you map out your next moves. Whether that's helping with your personal brand or creating a marketing plan or building out your content strategies that actually provides results, or simply navigating the music industry to whatever is most relevant to where you're at, I want to help. You can now book a one-on-one consultation session for a fee with me through my Calendly. You can find the link in the description below. Now let's get back to the pod.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, and that was really, I give Nelly a lot of credit for that too. You know, out of all the labels she could have signed with, she went with Dreamworks, I think, because they had, you know, Rufus Wainwright and, you know, some really cool artists that maybe weren't necessarily selling multi-platinum, but had a lot of artistic integrity with an executive team that had a history of like artistic integrity and success as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Nelly Furtado, what is it that you saw to be able to identify this woman has all the potential in the world to become a superstar?
She, it was the recordings to start.
Okay.
And then when I met her, when I had lunch with her, it was one of those lunches where my first lunch with her where I'm pitching her, it's like, you got to let me do this, I'm going to do that. And I looked down at my watch and 4 hours had gone by. Like her just kind of like talking about her vision for her future and what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was inspiring. She still sparkles to this day. She had it.
Yeah, that it factor.
Yep.
Very intentional. Knew where she was going.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. A real vision for herself.
Yeah.
You know, and a distinctive sound, right? The sound that she came up with Gerald and Brian at that time was sort of revolutionary.
Yeah.
Pop and hip hop kind of mixed together. And
was that track and field?
Track and field, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Brian and Gerald.
Shout out Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. He's out here, right? Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I think he's in Vancouver now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. You do the deal. He says it changes your life. When does it change your life?
It changes my life probably right around when it's happening, because it really puts me on the map, you know, as like, who's this Canadian attorney like down here meeting with all our people, you know? And actually, off the back of that, I got 3 lawyers from New York tracked me down and just said, hey, you know, we hear you're doing great things. You know, maybe we can collaborate and do something together. And I ended up forming an alliance with Fred Davis, Clive Davis's son, who was a music attorney at the time. Basically, he would call us his Canadian office at the time. So we became kind of his Canadian office up in Toronto.
Okay.
And whenever I was in New York, off the back of that Nelly deal, I would be able to work out of their office. I would be able to commiserate or talk to all their lawyers. Fred would introduce me to people. Every time I go into New York, he would hear that I was in the office and call me into his office. He'd be like, who do you want to meet this week? I'd be like, oh, I don't know, like Donnie Einer, or, you know, I'd just like name names, and he'd like get them on the phone and be like, I got the hottest lawyer from Canada in my office. You got time for him? And they'd be like, okay, head down to Donnie Einer's office. And I'd get to meet all these like huge music executives. He sort of provided a real entree for me across the U.S. music business, introduced me to everybody. And when I walked into the room, I wasn't just some guy in Toronto trying to figure it out. I was Fred's guy.
Right.
It's like, oh, you're Fred's guy.
Way more respect.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't need to find this band another lawyer. You're Fred's guy. You know, because then I was able to pick up Sum 41 off the back of that Nelly deal and the Fred relationship. 3 Days Grace. Sam Roberts, Hot Hot Heat. I kind of went on a run, you know, after that Nelly deal, where it's like every time I went to New York, I was coming home with a record deal for somebody.
That's like the span of what, 24 months? 36 months?
Yeah, 24 to 36, something like that. By the end of like 2002, I think I did like 12 record deals for Canadian recording artists that I was shopping in the US.
So how are you finding these recording artists in Canada? I mean, I'm sure you have a network at this point and people are just bringing things to you at this point, or are you still going and seeking it out? And talk to me as well about, if you can. Like,
yeah. Well, let me tell you a little bit, Lynn, the way it's changed now too. Because back in the day, you're right, people would seek me out, but everybody was seeking me out. So that would mean I'd have 50 CDs you know, by the end of the month, maybe 100 by the end of the month. So I'd go into my office, you know, usually the fourth Saturday of every month, and sit there with the CDs and like, listen to this one, nope. Listen to this one, nope. Listen to this one, nope. And listen to this one, oh, Billy Talent. Oh, that sounds kind of good. Let's put that in the shopping pile, you know. And so really, it was an art back then, right? It wasn't. I know lawyers have all these tools now. They control the internet, and something's happening on SoundCloud, they can chase it down and find it. But back then, you had to listen to things, and sort of like what we said about Nelly. It's like, do they have the it factor?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Are these songs incredible? Are they competitive? Are people going to want to sign this? Is the band good live? You know, all of those things
are coming into play.
Yeah.
And so you just have taste. Like there's taste involved in this.
I do. I mean, I remind my kids of that all the time. It's like, I got good
They're
ears.
never gonna believe you, man.
No, Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. But
I do.
I knew some things. I knew that, you know. I always say, like, if your song's not good, I can't help you make a great song. If you've heard the songs I've written, you know I can't write great songs. But if the song is good, then I'm like, oh, that song's good.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, you know, doing all of these meetings. It was fascinating around that time too. Like these A&R people would play you records. They'd be like, hey, listen to what I'm working on. I remember hearing on one of my first trips to New York, hearing Britney Spears, Baby Hit Me One More Time. Like before it came out, being like, that's a hit.
Wow.
Macy Gray's I Try.
Wow.
That's a hit. You know, other things that weren't hits. But I think I have that tool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have the extra tool that I envy with some executives. It's like, this song's not quite here, but here's what you should do to fix it.
And who to take it to. And all. Yeah.
But if you come to my office and it's ready to go, I can recognize it.
Yeah.
A lot of artists have trouble sometimes, right? Like they have 20 songs. They're like, I think all of these are incredible. I don't know which ones are the best.
Right.
I'm good at helping to figure out which ones are the best.
And it's interesting with artists, more times than not, they don't really know how to identify the hit record.
Yeah, there's so many stories of that.
What is it about that from your experience? Why do you think, I guess, to your point, it's just they got so many records?
Yeah, I don't know actually, because, you know, it's something I feel like I can hear and feel almost instinctively. And like, I'm not right all the time, but I've been right enough to kind of build a career off it. But it's always kind of amused me. You know, it's funny, I was watching the Nickelback documentary last night.
Okay.
And watching them talk about This Is How You Remind Me. You know, they recorded that. They were just kind of like, oh, it just felt like another song. I'm like, no, that was a one listen, like, something's happening here with this song.
Right.
You know?
When I
heard it the first time.
And did you hear it before it came out?
I didn't hear that one before it came out. I just remember the first time I heard it on the radio. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a tsunami.
Right. Wow. Yeah. It's such a different time where it's just like all these executives had to, I mean, you're gambling, essentially. But you, as a professional gamblers, you beat the house more times than not.
Yeah, I call it's betting on the ponies, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.